What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of the Double Switch podcast. We are 1 day away from the first playoff game the Phillies will have played in 11 years. 11 years to the day, actually, since our last playoff game. Maybe the best game I've ever seen played, Roy Halladay against Chris Carpenter. Ironically, against the Cardinals. It's kind of poetic how, we're back in the playoffs against them. Some familiar faces in this series. Pujols, Molina, Wainwright, we're all in that series too. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, big news. I mean, this is just a huge deal for the city, huge deal for Johnny and I for sure. I'm sure all of Phillies Nation is going to be tuning in tomorrow, and good vibes all around. How are you doing today, Johnny?
I'm doing great, man. It's crazy to think that we have less than 24 hours till the Phillies are back in postseason baseball, but that's the truth. And we got our boy Zach Wheeler on the mound tomorrow.
Yeah, we got Wheeler going tomorrow. We found out a lot about how this series is going to look. We haven't figured out everything yet. There's going to be some news tomorrow. I think I have a good feeling of what it's going to be tomorrow, but we'll speculate on that stuff later. All kinds of storylines in this game. I'll kind of run into them now. I mean, this Cardinals team we're facing, I mean, they might have some good mojo on their side with, this being the last drive for some of their big time names. Kind of feels like, if they end up going all the way, I wouldn't be super surprised because some years you just have that magic, and a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying this might be the year the Cardinals have some magic, especially with Pujols being as hot as he is right now. I don't know. It's not ideal, but good for them, I guess, right?
No, not good for them. They ruined, or not. Let me rephrase that. They were the cause of the end of Ryan Howard and Roy Halladay as we knew it, because his arm declined right after that game. I would like to do the same to their legends. Let's send them out with the loss.
No, that'd be nice. You have some of their living legends on their way out, and you have some of our team legends, some of our big names. First time in the playoffs for a lot of these guys. JT and Gene, two of the longest tenured players without a playoff drought before this. This will be their first. And Nola and Reese, the two hometown guys, their first taste of Phillies baseball in October. Wish it could have been at home, but it's certainly better than nothing. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these guys kind of react to this big stage.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see, because it seems like they've all, in their post-game interviews after celebrating, they all have the same goal to bring the series back to Philadelphia and start the NLDS. But none of them have been in a wild card like this before, so we'll see how it goes.
Johnny, there's some people saying that the Phils are playing with house money at this point. Getting in was the goal, ending the drought was a goal. Do you think that's true, and do you think that could kind of help us play without that pressure? Because the Cardinals are feeling it right now. They don't want to blow this last chance with these stars that they have. Phils might be playing with house money.
I don't know who said that, but that actually that says it perfectly. Actually, I mean, they squeaked in with an interim manager, a team that we knew is a year away from getting some of our top pitching prospects. We got in, and that was the goal. I think we are playing with house money, and a lot of the other big name teams are not.
Yeah, no. You never know what can happen in playoff games like this. But let's kind of get into St. Louis because we've seen them twice this year. Phil's won the season series 4-3, like we did with a lot of other playoff teams. It's kind of crazy, but we match up kind of well against this team. Some of our strengths are like opposite of their strengths. You could honestly kind of say our teams are completely different in how we get it done. Do you want to just scroll down this list and we'll cover hitting, pitching, and kind of the intangibles? Yeah. Okay. So as for the hitting, the team can hit. It's a pretty good hitting team. Fifth highest team OPS in baseball. 10th highest team average, ninth in home runs with 197. They walk a lot. They don't really strike out. They're a pretty well disciplined team, um, and they like to get on base. Take their walk. They absolutely crush lefties. I can't stress that enough. Best OPS in baseball against lefties, and I mean that's something to think about if we get to Game 3. And it's something to think about. I don't think it matters as much with Alvarado because you throw 103 and it just doesn't matter. But
Awesome.
definitely, definitely Ranger. It's something to consider there, especially when we have a bunch of righties behind him. The fourth and fifth guys in this rotation. OPS is seventh against righties, so it's not a huge downgrade. And as you and I both know, this lineup starts with Goldie, little drop off in Arenado, and that's their two-headed monster. I mean, this team has some serious star power with those two. Goldie's going to win an MVP this year, as he should. He's been doing it a long time, but this is the best season I've seen out of him. So those are the guys. Those are the guys you don't really want to beat you. And I mean, after that, you're looking at Albert Pujols, 42-year-old Albert Pujols is the only other player on this team with an OPS over 800. And that's both a testament to Albert Pujols, and it goes to show you that this lineup can be considered top heavy. I mean, if you somehow manage to not let those two beat you, you're looking at a bunch of there's Tommy Edman in there, there's Nolan Gorman, I
Brendan
mean, yeah,
Donovan.
Brendan Donovan, Yachty, Dylan Carlson. These names, I mean, they're quality players. They're guys you want on your team, but they're not guys you pitch around and you're worried about a huge impact with the bat. So yeah, that's kind of what they throw at you with the bat. And I mean, it's worth noting for the last 30 days, teams have been pretty cold. Obviously, Goldie and Arenado, um, they've taken a step back from the way they started. I mean, for the first couple months, Goldie looked like he was going to hit like 350. Over the last 30 days, both their OPSs are under 710. Um, and it's kind of like the highlights. I mean, they kind of slowed down and no one's really talking about it. That might bode well for our high end pitchers and our bullpen arms because it's deceiving when you look at these season long stats. They might be a little skewed towards what they did at the beginning of the season.
Couldn't you say the same thing about the Philadelphia Phillies?
That's true. No, that's very true. There's probably somebody doing a podcast about us right now, and they're saying that. But the thing about that is, we won't go into this yet. We'll keep talking about the hitting, but our pitching, I mean, is a little better. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to make contact against some of the guys they're throwing out there. So I think that would probably be the difference between the two situations right now, as I see it.
Yes, I think so too.
Anything you think I missed about this lineup? I mean, what you see is kind of what you get with them.
Yeah, I actually kind of looked into Nola and Wheeler's numbers against this lineup in their career. And career, Zach Wheeler is 3-2, 2.65 ERA, 32 Ks, and 6 appearances. And then this season, he faced them in that back-to-back series we had against them. He had to face them both times. Both times he went 7 innings pitched, 0 earned, 1 walk, and 5 Ks. Identical stat lines.
I bet that has a lot to do with the righty on righties in this lineup. I mean, their three biggest bats are righties, and it definitely can't hurt having
Yeah,
two right-handed pitchers going at him. What about Nola? Do you have Nola stats?
I do. Nola is career 5-3, 2.69 ERA, 66 strikeouts in 9 appearances. And Nola faced them one time this year. He went 7 innings, 5 earned, 1 home run, 7 Ks.
You see, is Vegas looking at that? Because that sounds like a clear advantage. I mean, you have 27 innings and you're hoping to get half of them out of those two arms. And I mean, if they're throwing up shutouts against this team that was hitting well earlier in the season, a relatively cold team now, I mean, I don't know how you look at that and think advantage St. Louis in any way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely there. And another little tidbit. Neither Nola I'm actually almost afraid to say this stat for jinxing purposes, but
I'm listening.
neither of the two have allowed home runs to the dangerous duo of Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Let's keep that going.
Wait 1 sec. All right, we're good.
All right. Yeah, no, that's it's going to be interesting. Those are the matchups you're going to look for. Are big arms against their big bats, and I mean, at this point, I think you kind of have to consider Albert a big bat too, because he's been red hot in his quest to 700 home runs, and he's actually blown past it now. I think he's at 703.
I don't see how Albert's doing at this age. I hate to throw shade at Albert Pujols because I love him, but like, how is this guy not juicing at this age? It's incredible.
I didn't see the splits. It has to be skewed towards lefties, right?
I feel like it has to be. There's no other way.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, he's doing it, and we have to acknowledge it. So, I mean, Albert, don't give him anything too easy to hit, because he can clearly still get it out of the park.
That's a fact.
But no, that's the hitting. In my opinion, the most interesting part of the team. Let's move on to pitching. And this is a pretty strange team on the pitching side. No true ace. You look up and down this rotation, and you can mix and match however you want, put it in any order you want, and I'll buy it. I mean, that's kind of the staff they have. There's no huge weak links, which is, that's something that you would want. And yeah, it was very much in question who they would pitch before they actually came out and said, Quintana's pitching tomorrow. They could have gone 5 different ways with it. So that's it's weird seeing a team design like that. But anyway, their pitching staff was dead last in the league in strikeouts. This is a staff that pitches to contact. And Johnny, what have the Phillies offense struggled with from time to time?
Strikeouts, making contact with the baseball.
Strikeouts. If you have a high strikeout offense and you somehow find a way to pair that with a pitching staff that doesn't strike anybody out, that's another advantage for this Phillies team, because you could be facing the staff with wipeout stuff like the Dodgers, and you're facing hitters, huge swing and miss, Rhys Hoskins, Kyle Schwarber. That would be a disaster for us, because, you have a clear advantage against the guys at the top of our lineup, but that's not the case here. They pitch to contact, and it kind of works for them. They're 9th in ERA, ton of ground balls as a pitching staff. So kind of get ready for those double plays that have become extremely common. It feels like in the past couple of weeks, I feel like we're just ground ball machines lately. But
yeah, Jose Quintana really does live on the ground ball.
Yeah, and I mean, it works for them because they have the best. They got to have the best defense in baseball. I mean, they don't mess anything up in the field.
No, they've always been sharp since I've watched baseball. They don't slow up on defense.
Yeah, Gold Glovers literally all around the field. But for them, their pitching staff last 30 days, 22nd in average against. Maybe they're running out of gas. I mean, I don't know how how well prepared their staff is for this, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the pitchers have become less effective lately. I know Mikolas had a bad second half. I know Wainwright had a terrible September. I don't know. Maybe they're running out of gas here. I mean, it would happen at pretty much a perfect time for us.
Yeah, no, I would certainly take some weak arms, but I don't think we should bet on that. I think this is a good pitching staff that I think a lot of Philly fans are sleeping on right now. I think they see no ace game one, and everyone's trying to draw up wins. But Jose Quintana's been effective in the league for a while. We have a lot of guys that fall victim to ground balls and strikeouts. So we have to be on our A game regardless. And this is a little off topic, but we kind of have different philosophies as teams. This Cardinal,
we're complete opposites. These teams are completely different. It's crazy.
No, because the Cardinals will be very happy keeping the Phillies all series to low amount of runs, 2-3 runs, because they trust their bullpen. They have one of the best back ends of the bullpen you can really find, and we like playing in a slugfest.
Yeah, and I've seen in several different places that don't be surprised if you see a piggyback start this one of these games. I mean, they have Quintana and Nicholas definitely going. We'll get into those two shortly. I have a bunch of stuff on them. Game three's, that's a question mark. But even if you have a game three pitcher, let's say it's Wainwright, you still have Jordan Montgomery in this pen who can give you good innings. He's been awesome since they got him. Still have Jack Flaherty, who
Yep.
he's not the Jack Flaherty of old, but I mean he's still Jack Flaherty. And on top of
Still a
that, you have
stuff.
he still knows how to pitch. I mean, he's been here before. And you have Steven Matz, who, I mean, he's a pretty good six starter on a team, relatively
Yeah.
speaking. So yeah, we need to be prepared to see any of those guys try to stretch this game out to the eighth and ninth inning, where, like you said, they have. So I just have two of the names here: Giovanni Gallegos. I think he was the one who hit Bryce Harper in the face, right?
I thought that was Genesis Cabrera.
That was Genesis Cabrera. I don't know if he's in this pen.
He's not gonna be on the roster.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, no, Giovanni Gallegos, who's their primary setup man, and then Ryan Helsley. And if you haven't seen Ryan Helsley pitch,
You should.
he is insane. Like you're gonna see him pitch this series, and you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, this guy throws hard. He makes like Edwin Diaz kind of look like he's throwing soft, and it's scary when you get to the ninth inning and you got to face that because I don't. Have you seen his walkout thing?
No. Is it cool?
Oh, it's so cool. It's the whole stadium gets it blacks out the whole stadium. All the lights go off, and all the scoreboard stuff goes red. And Hell's
Oh my
Bells
god.
plays in the background. I mean, he kind of stole it from Trevor Hoffman, but Hell's Bells plays in the background, and it's insane. It's one of the cooler things that I've seen, and I don't want to get to the ninth inning down 2 runs.
No, I think that would be a goal of what not to do this series. Josh, I actually looked into some of the Phillies' numbers against Quintana, and believe it or not, like not a lot for a guy that's been in the NL for a couple of years. Our team doesn't have that much experience against Jose Quintana.
Now, I'm cheating because I'm looking at this stuff here. I know he threw 5.2 innings of shutout ball against us this year, right?
Yes,
I don't remember much about that game. I don't remember
I don't
if we
either.
were hitting him around or anything. I can't. I just don't remember it for some reason.
That was when he was still in the Cubs, right?
Pirates.
Oh, Pirates, yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, he's well traveled. He was on the White Sox for like it felt like 15 years ago for some reason. He's been around the league for a minute. White Sox, Cubs, Pirates, Cardinals. Now he's a big fan of the Central. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about him. Let's dive into him first. We'll go through the two pitchers we know and kind of speculate on where the series goes after that. Game one's going to be Jose Quintana. Like I said, 5.2 innings of shutout ball against us this year. Not the best stuff. He's not going to really blow you away with anything. Like you said, awesome ground ball rate. He's going to throw strikes. He has never given up or I shouldn't say it like that. That's dramatic. This year, he has not given up a home run to a lefty, which is insane. Lefties are batting 219 against him. He completely neutralizes them, and that's big when you think about the top of this lineup. Schwarber and Harper. Righties are hitting 246, which isn't much better. This guy's sneaky good. No one's going to give him the credit he deserves, but he's had a pretty great year. He doesn't have the most stuff. He doesn't have the most talent out there, but he knows how to use what he's got, and he can use it really well, especially on this Cardinals team that's going to make the plays behind you. So don't be surprised if we have some issues against him. He's not just a throw-in piece. He's a good argument for starting game one of this series for them.
No, absolutely. Most of our lineup has seen him under 10 times. A guy to really watch, I think, against Jose Quintana is going to be Nick Castellanos because he got to face off against him a lot as a member of the Reds.
How did he do against him? Do you have those numbers?
Yeah, he's 11 for 40 with 2 home runs and 4 walks.
Okay, it might be. Yeah, his value might come from having familiarity with his stuff and kind of a lot of these guys probably haven't faced him, especially like you think about Marsh. I guess I don't know if Harper was healthy last time we faced him. A couple guys probably haven't faced him, so it's good to know what kind of deception he brings as when he pitches and what kind of stuff he can throw at you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Harper only faced him 6 times, 0 for 6.
Yeah, no, he's tough. I think he hides the ball well. Um, I don't know. He does something funky against lefties, and it works. But no, that's Jose Quintana. He's going to go game one. Game two, I have this written down. I think they put out Mikolas's game two, right?
They did.
Okay. Miles Mikolas. Is it Michaelis or Mikolas?
I don't know. Potato, potato.
Okay. Yeah, he's a weird pitcher too. He does not throw hard either. He's got a big loopy curveball. Um, he's very good at home. He's much better against lefties, which is pretty weird again for being a righty. I don't know how that works. His season's kind of being held up by a strong first half. He's a 3.29 on the season and a 4.39 in the second half. That goes to show you how strong his first half was. People were talking Cy Young consideration after like June. He had a really good start to the season. Not going to strike a lot of people out, like I said. He had a quality start against us in July, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Don't remember that game either. A lot of the games blend together for me, so I can't really offer much in terms of that. But one thing of note, I mean, he's pretty good in high leverage spots. He's can kind of control when the game's starting to get out of hand and slow it down. Kind of think of like opposite Kyle Gibson, and you know how when Kyle Gibson gets runners on, shit hits the fan. He's like the opposite, and shit doesn't hit the fan when he gets runners on. So another good pitcher they're going to throw at us. Another weird pitcher, but guy can use this stuff well.
Yeah, I think game two could be, especially with Mikolas pitching. I think Jordan Montgomery might be a logical piggyback for that game, just because they both have very good numbers against lefties. And it seems that manager, I think his name's Oliver Marmol.
That sounds correct.
It seems like the plan is to neutralize our big lefties.
Yeah, well, they got the guys to do it. Their pitchers just I don't know, like they have a whole team designed to get lefties out. It's kind of weird. You're right about the uh, putting Montgomery with Mikolas. Quintana with Flaherty also makes sense if you want to throw lefty righties out there. So you might be onto something there. But no, he's a good pitcher. Bryce is 4 for 10 against him, so he seems to see him well, even though he's a lefty. But no, I don't know. We'll see. He's a good pitcher.
100%. But I think the Phillies do have the flexibility on the bench to kind of play this game with them. I mean, we're going to have Nicky Maton on the bench. That's a very important lefty for like Gene and Alec Boehm and Vierling, all sorts of guys. It's good to have him there. And I think we're going to have, do you know who else is going to be on the bench? Stubbs.
I think Sosa's going to be on the bench.
I saw it was the final spot was between Sosa, Hall, and Guthrie.
I think it's going to be Sosa. I'm like 80% sure it's going to be Sosa.
Josh, why does Edmundo Sosa just feel like the perfect postseason bench player?
Defense,
Speed
and
too, maybe.
and explosiveness with the bat. He goes up there every at bat thinking he's going to change the game, and sometimes that's a pain in the butt. Javi Baez has the same approach. Him and Javi Baez are kind of similar in ways. You go up there and you think you can tie the game up, and sometimes it's annoying, but you can do it. He can change a bat with one swing, and his defense is perhaps the biggest game changer, like out of any of the bench players. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing him come in for Alec Boehm at third base, especially late in games we're leading. I think it's going to be him. I'm like 80% sure it's going to be him.
I think it's really the only option that made sense. I thought about it a lot today, and I know a lot of people would like to see Hall, but we're playing a team that has a lot of really good lefty pitchers, and Derek Hall's strikeout rate concerns me.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll know that for sure tomorrow. But
Yep.
let's speculate real quick. Who do you think's starting Game 3 for the Cardinals?
I would think Wainwright.
Wainwright. That's what I thought too when I wrote down the notes. He's getting up there. He's 42 now. A lot of people probably have this idea of who Wainwright is as a pitcher, and you're correct in having that idea. He's been doing it for a long time, and he's really good at it. Now he's a little different. He's very hittable. His stuff is not very good anymore. His curveball is still his curveball. I mean, he'll never lose the ability to get people out with his curveball. He could do that until he's like 70. 2.83 ERA in the postseason. Obviously, he was a younger pitcher when he was getting that 2.83 ERA, but wouldn't be surprised if he had some magic in the tank. Looked good last postseason. He's one of those pitchers that, there's a certain mystique that comes with him. He's kind of one of the living legends of the game. He's also facing dead arm in September. His ERA is over 7 in the month, so he's not pitching well. And on top of that, Bryce, Gene, and JT are all batting 400 against him, and Reese is batting over 300. So Marmol is going to have some serious decisions to make. It's probably not the best choice if you're a Cardinals fan, if you're kind of plotting this out, but I think that's the way they're going to go.
I really did. I knew that he was having a tougher end to the season, but I did not realize that JT, Bryce, who's the third?
JT, Bryce, and Gene.
Yeah, those are some crazy numbers, and I don't think the Cardinals are going to want to mess with that. So that makes Wainwright seem like he might be the piggyback.
Yeah, I think if it's not him, it's Montgomery.
Yeah, it could be Montgomery to start, and then maybe Wainwright to come in.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, there's a ton of ways they could go there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, so that's the arms. I have 4 main takeaways here of this team and how we should think about them. Takeaway number 1, top-heavy offense. You have the big 2 bats. They're vulnerable now. They haven't been hitting lately, but, you still can't let those 2 beat you. Number 2, staff's it's a dependable pitching staff, but they're very hittable. They're not going to blow you away with stuff. A lot of ground balls, and they use that strong defense. So kind of don't bite on those, those pitches they throw designed for double plays, because that's what they're going to be doing the whole game. That they're going to be setting you up for something, and we have to be disciplined and we have to not fall for it. Takeaway number 3, Helsley. Can't stress this enough. The guy's a monster out of the closer role, and Gallegos is pretty good out of the setup role. Got to try to get to them sooner than that. You have to do it. It's like going into the 9th with Edwin Diaz. There's a chance. It's just not it's so unlikely that you really shouldn't even plan on that. Don't plan on a comeback that inning. And perhaps the biggest takeaway, this team's good, but they're not a juggernaut like the other 2 division winners. There's clearly a tier below, and they're a tier below the Mets too. I mean, we should feel really good about this matchup if you're a Phillies fan.
100%. Those are really good takeaways, and I think you're right. I think we got the best draw of cards, but we also can't take it for granted. Like you were saying, I think it was your second one about Helsley and the bullpen.
Yeah.
I guess my takeaway or just advice for the Phillies from a fan would be that we can't do this scoring from the 5th to the 9th inning. We're gonna have to jump on the starters, but not in a way where we hit into early counts and the ground balls, and it's gonna be trickier than people think. I believe.
Yeah, this team is a team that they don't blow you away with the talent. They figure out how to beat you. They just figure it out. Dodgers throw more talent at you and they beat you that way. But this Cardinals team, they know they don't have the most talent, so they find a way to beat you. And we can't help them.
Sound.
Yeah, we can't help them do that. We have to be disciplined and we have to not fall for what they're throwing at us. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. That does.
All right, you got anything else on the Cardinals? Because that kind of sums up what I looked into for them. If you're ready, we could move on to our keys to this series for the Phils.
Okay, yeah. Now, I don't have much more because I didn't want to over speculate about who's going to be starting Game 3. So, yeah, let's head to the takeaways.
Okay, so I have 5 keys. Do you have any keys down?
Nope. That was my
All
one
right.
key.
All right, so I'm gonna run through these keys, and you let me know if you agree with me on them. All right.
Okay.
So we spoke a lot about how they neutralize lefties as pitching staff. I think JT and Reese are going to be huge keys to this series. If you're talking about pitchers that have a very good chance of getting Schwarber and Bryce Harper out, if some of those guys manage to get their way on base, these middle of the lineup right-handed bats, they need to capitalize on it. Um, and it starts with those two because they hit lefties pretty well. They're just really going to have to take advantage of whatever opportunities they get. And if they don't, then our chances of this series going our way goes way down.
I think that was a great takeaway. And if we see one of JT or Reese having a cold streak this series, don't expect a lot of runs or to go to the next round.
Yeah, if I can pick one of the bats, it's most important. It's one of those two. I can't decide who. I think I'd lean Reese because he's between them. And he's going to be the guy who's going to have to fix whatever's going on in this lineup, um, because you can't just have Schwarber and Harper just dealing with these tough lefties and these righties that get lefties out. It's wild, but that's my first key. Second one, starting pitchers have to work deep in this game. Bullpen's a huge question mark right now. Alvarado's our best reliever. He's a lefty. Like I said, it shouldn't matter. I don't think it will matter. Um, but you have 3 days here. You have to really pick and choose when you use him. We can't just throw him out there in like the 4th inning. So we need these pitchers to get us into the 6th, 7th inning. So that gap that we have to make up shortens. Other than Alvarado, I mean, Eflin's the only one who seems to have any trust right now. Um, Thompson's trust at least. So I mean, you really have to limit the pitchers that they see between the starter and whoever ends up closing this game out. You want to keep that number as low as possible.
Yeah, between 2 and 3 innings for the bullpen each night would be beautiful.
Yeah, some of these relievers that we do have, specifically Bilotti, wipeout slider against those big righties, that might end up paying dividends. And Eflin has really good numbers against Goldie and Arenado. Eflin's like the gift that keeps on giving this time of year.
Right.
He just like nonstop good news with Eflin. So you're going to see Eflin a lot, and I'm happy about it. I have a lot of trust in the guy. But that's my second one. Third one, covered this. Got to limit the double plays. Can't have any double plays 3 times a game. Not only am I going to lose my mind if that happens, but we're going to lose if that happens.
Yeah, no, you can't. We have to extend rallies every opportunity we get. Can't kill them.
Yeah, I actually covered a lot of these earlier. I should have thought this through more. Fourth one's Helsley. Don't get to them before Helsley, and the fifth one is Zach Eflin. He's going to be a weapon this series. He has very good numbers against his lineup. So yeah, I don't know. It's a toss up. I think it's the closest of the 4 wild card series, besides probably the Guardians and the Rays. That one's really close, but I wouldn't be. You could tell me anything happens this series, I wouldn't be surprised. You could tell me we sweep, I'd be like, yeah. You could tell me they sweep us, I'd be like, all right, that sounds right too. Anything can happen. All bets are off, and we kind of do have a team that's designed to kind of make a run here. If things click for this team, this is a team that can beat anybody. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it's possible, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep, we'll have to see that click into place first.
You're right about that.
All right, I think that brings us to trivia time with the
Trivia
double
time!
switch. All right.
That's a quick one with the music.
Well, I got good questions for you today, so I wanted to keep the
Yeah,
music short.
I'm sure.
All right. After I took 2 out of 3 last episode, Josh will be up now. See if he can counter that and win the inning.
Bottom third.
Correct. Who leads the Philadelphia Phillies in all-time postseason ERA? Minimum 40 innings pitched.
Cliffley.
Yes. You looked that up.
I did. we looked up the same 10 questions for this week. No, Cliffley was a postseason beast.
He was.
He was the best postseason pitcher I think I've ever seen on the Phillies.
Yeah, I couldn't agree much more with that one. He was really just so efficient too, watching him pitch. Always loved it. All right. Question number 2. Name one of the Phillies' all-time hit leaders in the postseason. There are 2 that are tied.
Okay.
Yeah, no bonus if you get both.
Okay. Hit leaders. No bonus if I get 2. I think I know the 2 that it is. It's gotta be from the 2008 team. I'm gonna go Jimmy Rollins.
Do you want to shout out the second one?
Chase Utley.
Jimmy and Shane at 47 hits.
Shane, wow.
Yeah. Shane had 6 career home runs in the postseason too.
Yeah, I remember his biggest one was against CC Sabathia, 2008.
Yep.
NLDS.
I remember the newspaper, and it said, "Did you CC that?"
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I said Jimmy there. I easily could have said Shane because I thought it, or not Shane, Chase.
I know. I thought you were gonna go Chase and blow it. This one probably the easiest, but could be the hardest. Who knows? Who on the 2008 World Series team wore the number 19?
Brett Myers?
Really? Greg Dobbs.
No, why would I know that?
I thought maybe you know numbers.
No, I had no idea. I knew it was someone I didn't know. So I just figured I guessed somebody whose number I didn't know. So I guess it's not Brett Myers. I guess it's Greg Dobbs.
Yeah, I think Brett Myers is 49, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it ended in
or 39.
That's probably why I thought
39. Yeah,
all right, well, I guess
one,
we tied again, so that's kind of lame.
Yeah, we probably should stop doing that. Maybe we gotta make harder questions next time around.
Yeah, well, we still might tie if we make harder questions.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. A tie's okay.
All right. Yeah, no, it's fine. 1-0 me still heading to the top of the 4th.
Correctamundo.
Final predictions. I guess it's our responsibility here to come up with predictions. How do you think this series goes?
I think it goes to the Phillies in 3 games.
Okay. So how do you see those 3 games going? Like win, loss, win? Loss, win, win?
I'm going to say loss, win, win.
Man, I don't want to be lame, but that's actually what I was going to go to. I think Aaron Nola rides the wave from his big Houston Astros start into the postseason, and he makes these righties look bad with his loopy curveball and his right on right changeups, and I think
his filth.
I think that he finds out that he's a pretty good postseason pitcher, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. The one scenario that I don't see happening is I don't see either team losing in 2.
Yeah, no, I think both these teams have fight regardless.
Now, it's going to be fun. You can find me glued to the TV all weekend because I'm a big fan of postseason baseball. I'll be watching all of them. And I guess next time you guys will hear from us is early next week, and we'll know what's going on.
Hey, maybe if we're feeling a little excited this weekend, we'll jump on. We'll see.
Now, it's going to be fun, and we deserve this as Phillies fans for all the pain that we've
Everyone, just enjoy it. Don't scrutinize for like one weekend. Just enjoy it. Doesn't happen every day.
That's for sure. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening as always. Throw us that like on YouTube. Give us that 5-star rating on Spotify if you guys like what you hear. Um, we're always open to suggestions. Questions you guys want us to answer on the show. Leave those in the comments. And as always, go Phils. Thank you guys for listening.
Go Fightins.